Hello everyone and welcome to Action RPG Build Guide Edition. Today I'm ready to drop on you my brand new updated and refreshed Nutcracker Beastmaster. We put over 1,000 stacks of bleed on the enemy and watch them melt. As always, I will cover every single facet of the build. Everything is timestamped in the description below if you need to bounce around. Let's not waste any time and jump right into this. Now, I wanted to quickly start at the training dummy. I am not going to attack. I'm not going to hit Warcry. I'm not going to hit Frenzy Totem. I'm not going to hit Howl. Look at how quickly we get 500 stacks of bleed. No hands. 300, 400, 500. These squirrels are little monsters. Starting off with some gameplay. So this is our Nutcracker Squirrel build. And again, we are focused on bleed like you saw at the training dummy. We are using Warcry, Swipe, Frenzy Totem, Wolves, and Leap. Everything to buff our squirrels. And Swipe is going to give us some buffs and keep our mana full, which I will show you during the skill breakdown. Now, during a large boss fight, you're going to be able to put over 1,000 stacks of bleed. I was streaming this build all day yesterday, and there was multiple times we fought the Emperor of Corpses and had 999 plus bleed stacks from our squirrels, which is absolutely awesome. Right now, this build is approaching 300 corruption. We're at 281, and obviously we're going to be able to go much higher than that. This is just the amount of time I've put into it. So we're running around pretty easy. We are not using ward in any capacity. So for survival, we're using armor, life, endurance, endurance threshold, and crit avoidance. We also have a decent amount of leech. So as long as you're hitting your enemies, you are normally fine when it comes to survivability. And this should only get buffed for the next season we have coming up, where endurance is going to get a little bit of love. Look at that. Let's show a boss fight. Jump out of there, Shade of Oribus. There he is, Cold Oribus. Let's see how many stacks we can get. 300, 400, 500, 600, 7, 8. Oh, we got to move. It was at 970 before we had to jump out of the way. Like I said, insane bleed stacks. And of course, we have our kill threshold at 14%. 20. And dead. Let me show you how to recreate this build. So now let's break down the skills, starting with Fury Leap. What you want to do is first go down and grab this tree here. This is going to keep your squirrels close to you so that when you leap, the squirrels jump with you. It's going to give you damage, frenzy, health, and cleanse. Absolutely amazing skill. You then want to come and get cooldown recovery and immune while leaping so you don't die in the air. Now you have 4 free points on this skill. You can take stun if you want, but for me, I'm always trying to ensure that I am alive, so I took leech. Moving over to summon wolf. Now this tree is awesome. I wish I had 40 points to put into wolf because there's so many good nodes here. Now what you want to do is you want to come left first, and you want to get legendary bite, which is melee damage, stun, and crit. And you want to come over here and give your wolves the cold tag, and you want to get pack hunters. And I'll explain why you want your wolves to be cold when we talk about Warcry. Now, pack hunters is going to give you maximum wolves and maximum companions. You're then going to come to the right on the hunt for attack speed, howl, and safety in numbers. Now, safety in numbers is going to allow you to make your 5 wolves or 10 squirrels. If you do not take this node, you have to use the claw amulet. Lastly, you're going to come down here because obviously we are bleed squirrels, and this is going to give you a 100% chance. This is how we're getting those 500 stacks so quickly. On Emperor of Corpses or any boss fights, you're going to have 1,000 stacks easily. And then you want hunters, which is multiplicative damage over time and physical penetration with bleed. Turns them into monsters, these 2 nodes right here. Moving over to summon Frenzy Totem. Now for here, you want to come to the right first. And you want to take Frenzy, which is going to give you melee physical damage for your squirrels. You are also going to take Lead the Pack, which is going to boost your crit chance. You're going to take Furious Cry, which is going to refresh so you could howl more often. You're then going to come down here and you're going to get Symbol of Selflessness, which makes all the buffs on this tree for your companions 30% larger, but it no longer affects you, which who cares anyways. And then for this, I've got one extra point, so I just put it in grounded, which is going to give global melee damage. But really for this, you only need 20 points. If I only had 20, I would axe this and I'd only put 1 or 2 here. Moving over to Swipe, which does so much good for this build. Even though you are not doing damage, your minions are, Swipe still helps you a lot. You want to come down and get Aspect of the Panther. You want to get Feline Hunter, which boosts your attack speed, and Wild Calling. Now, Wild Calling is going to give you Spirit Wolves, and Spirit Wolves actually scale with minion damage. So you are doing a melee attack, but it's scaling with minion, which is awesome, and you're going to be able to trigger this every 45%, so basically every other hit. You're then going to come up and over. This is going to give you Leech, and it's going to give you Kill Threshold. You're then going to come down here, which is going to give you Bleed Chance, Physical Red Chance, and keep your mana full while you are swiping. So just to be clear, this skill Swipe, it boosts your attack speed. You're doing minion damage. You're leeching life. You're culling enemies with Kill Threshold. You're putting bleed stacks on. You're shredding armor and getting mana back. Works pretty well. Last skill is Warcry. First thing you want to do is come over to the left, and you're going to get Bringer of Winter. You and your cold minions affected by Warcry have increased critical strike chance. This is why you got to make sure those wolves have the cold tag, so they benefit from all of these nodes. You are then going to come over to the right, and you're going to take Shallow Breaths so that you can Warcry more often. You're then going to come down and you're going to give yourself Vulnerability, Life, and Cleansing Ailments. And then your last 3 points you're going to put up here into Battle Cry. Those are the skills. So now let's break down the passive tree, starting with the base tree where we have 25 points. And obviously everything is designed to buff your squirrels as much as possible, which we want strength. So we are taking 8 into Primal Strength, 5 into Hunter's Restoration, 6 into Survival of the Pack. This will give you and your squirrels a lot of leech. 1 into Hunter's Emanation, so this also applies to your minions, and then 5 into Berserker. Now, this is going to give you less damage taken at low life. I love this node because it kind of gives you time to get out of harm's way, or it allows you to hit enemies with swipes so that you can get your life back up. Moving over to Beastmaster, where we have 76 points put into it. Now, the first nodes here are all focused around damage reduction and Aspect of the Boar. And you only want 4 points into Boar Heart right here. And you're going to be able to trigger Aspect of the Boar 1 in 5 hits with your swipe with the Boar Heart node right here, and you are giving yourself strength. On the bottom here, we're taking Aspect of the Shark, and this will apply to our minions. We are taking increased attack speed for our minions, increased minion melee damage. We're giving our endurance to our squirrels to try and keep them alive. We have 3 into Aspect of the Lynx, which is going to give us crit strike chance and companion critical strike multiplier. Even though we're a bleed build, we're still going to have a ton of crit chance, so this is just going to be added damage. We have 10 into Ancient Might, which is strength and minion melee. We have 10 into Viper Fangs, which is attack speed for you and your companions. And remember, your swipe's going to be doing damage as well. And then this one's a little different. I know I'm going to get questioned on it. This is Envenom. And this is minion melee poison chance. Now, even though we're a bleed build, we're still going to have 500 to 600% damage over time. And when your squirrels are fully buffed, they can put almost 100 stacks of bleed on the enemy. I've seen about 120, I think, is about where it peaks out as. So it's just going to give you added damage that's going to scale with that damage over time. Now, we have 5 points right here into plating. This is going to give you endurance and armor and give your squirrels armor. And then right now I have 4 points into Sky Warrior. This is going to, on my next level, I'm going to have increased cooldown recovery speed for leap so that we could leap more often. Now, currently I'm level 93, which means I'm going to have 3 points left. 1 point is going to go right here, and then the other 2 points are going to go right here into Cry. That is the passive trees. Now let's talk blessings, idols, and gear, starting with blessings. Now for this build, we are taking Void Resistance, Lightning Resistance, Crit Strike Avoidance, Physical Resistance, and Endurance %. So you will notice that all 5 of the blessings that we care about are all focused around survivability. Now you can switch out some of these. You could take all resistance if you have another way to get Crit Strike Avoidance. And if you have another way of getting endurance, you could take minion damage here. Those 2 could be switched out. Moving over to idols. Now here you want increased health and increased damage over time. You could also find increased health and minion chance to bleed. So those are the two that you are looking for, but I would take increased minion damage over time, so that way it scales with that poison as well. And then the other nodes, you guessed it, they're all just double health. So that's it. It's only these two idols you need to look for. Moving over to gear. Now there is one item that is absolutely required, is the only item required for this build. It does not work if you don't have Zizzarin's unique Herald of the Scurry. This is what actually converts your wolves into squirrels, and it is going to give them chance to bleed on hit and chance to shred physical resistance on hit with squirrels. It's designed for bleed. It's absolutely awesome. So you need Herald of the Scurry. I am also using a doublet, so I'm using a Toll armor. This is minions have 40% chance to bleed on hit, and minions have increased bleed duration. Now I had a couple of these with legendary potential 3, so it's going to super boost your squirrels and you can make them into awesome legendaries. All right, moving over to the axe. This is the Vow axe, and I also had a Vow axe that was 4 legendary potential. And again, you could find this for 3 legendary potential very easily. It's not required by any means, but what this does do is health gained on a companion hit. You have 10 squirrels that are hitting like crazy, attacking extremely fast. Every time one hits, you get back 5 life. So it's a good way to get your health up or maintain your health, and it has companion revive speed on it. So not required whatsoever, but really easy to find with legendary potential, so I do recommend it. We are also using Ribbons of Blood. This is going to give your minions leech and melee physical damage, and it's just going to help them stay alive. Also, your minions will not be able to be crit. So we're trying to find lots of ways to keep your squirrels alive, and for the most part, my squirrels almost never die. Now, let me look at the other items here. Again, you need the claw if you are not taking the node in the wolf tree. We're using an oracle amulet with minion. On our ring, we're using strength minion. On our belt, we're using minion double life. On our relic, we're using strength level to Warcry. On our boots, strength hybrid health. And on our gloves, strength hybrid health. Now, I want to show you defensive mechanics for this build. Nothing on here I took was tier 7. All of this stuff has a singular tier 6 node. I guess that's not true. This axe has 1 tier 7, but for the most part, survivability wise, everything has a single tier 6 node, which means the gear could be even that much better. Right now, 5,100 life, maxed resistances, maxed endurance, almost 1,200 endurance threshold, and 100 critical strike avoidance. We are extremely tanky with 43% armor mitigation from our 2,500 damage. If you can get close to creating this, you will be an absolute beast. So now let's talk leveling. Aaron, this is great, but how do I get from level 1 to what I see on screen right now? Great question. For me, it doesn't matter if you're a Beastmaster, a Shaman, or a Druid. I level all my builds the exact same way, and that is through swipe. It's an absolutely awesome skill in endgame and early game, and the main 3 nodes you want to focus on is Way of the Hunt, Reach, and Culling. So again, you're going to have kill threshold, you're going to have area and damage, and you're going to have leech so that you can hit enemies and just fly through the campaign. Now you want to use this with Warcry. In Warcry, you come down here and you take Berserker. This is going to boost your damage and boost your attack speed when you are using swipe. And if you want, you can come down here and grab Maelstrom. So Maelstrom will actually proc from your Warcry, and inside of Maelstrom, you will come down here and you'll take Cyclone, which is going to switch your build into physical damage. So you'll have physical Maelstroms, you will have Warcry triggering the Maelstroms and Berserk, and you will have swipe. You then put an unspec'd Fury Leap on your bar. You don't need to spec into it, you just need to throw it on your bar so that you get a free movement skill. Swipe and Warcry will get you through the campaign easy, and if you use Maelstrom, you'll do it even that much faster. All right, everyone, that's the build guide. What do you think of my new and updated Bleed Squirrel build? Is there anything I missed? Is there anything I can do to take this to the next level? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. A couple asks at the end of the video. Please like, share, and subscribe. Of course, only if you think I've earned it. I get asked all the time what's the best way to support, and Patreon is it. And for Last Epoch Cycle 2, we have multiple voice parties. We're going to be running community community events. It's going to be an absolute blast. Make sure you join my Discord. It is all linked in the description. I'm done. Hopefully you were entertained or at least learned something. Aaron, out.